यहाँ पर ठीक है। Hello. So it's fine live now. Welcome to the next presentation. This presentation will cover overview of preparation of river basin master planning, data requirement, stages, national, international and region specific guidelines, as well as challenges which are witnessing during preparation of river basin master plan. So before starting this presentation, the introduction to river basin planning and overview of northeast river basins. In this presentation, I am disturbances. Introduction of master planning as well as overview of still okay. Thank you very much. So apart from the introductory session of river basin master planning, overview of northeast river basin including Brahmaputra, Barak, other river basins which are in Imphal, Mizoram, Manipur, which are draining to Bangladesh, and Myanmar, which also be covered. So before starting, there are a couple of slides I would like to let you know who we are, about our company background. So we are representing RMSI Private Limited. We are consultant to the Brahmaputra board, currently executing the 15 river basin master plan, 10 river basins falling in Meghalaya, south flowing river basins draining to Bangladesh, 2 in Nagaland in Assam, Dikhao and Janji. One is Dikrong, which is starting from Arunachal and draining to plains of Assam and meeting to Brahmaputra, and 2 river basins of Mizoram. So RMSI, we have head office in Noida, we have international footprints as well. We have several global offices in US, UK, Abu Dhabi. We are having some offices in India. We have head office in Noida and 2 delivery office. One is in Hyderabad, another one is Dehradun. So we basically working in the 6 domains, 6 sectors: utility engineering, telecom. We have some projects from international funding agency like telecom, insurance and funding agencies, land and property, revenue, navigation and mapping, in which the mapping this mobile apps software we are developing, the Apple tools, Apple application, iPhone application our team is developing in Hyderabad office, exclusively working for the iPhone navigation work. Our division in the disaster management division. Under disaster management division, there are hundreds of engineers are working in Noida office. Our division is flood, water resources, and there are other engineers also which are dealing with different disasters. We are having some projects from National Disaster Management Authority World Bank, ADB funded, and we have, I mean, RMSI has experience of, working in almost all the river basins, from starting from Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Assam, UP, Bihar, Rajasthan. No, there is, I mean, the desert part, mostly the Rajasthan area, but the one river is Chambal. We have the experience of working all the river basins in India, and specifically in the northeast, we have worked with Water Resources Department, Government of Meghalaya, Water Resources Department, Government of Nagaland, and Assam governments. We are having number of projects. Like we have recently completed one project from APGCL, Assam Power Generation Corporation Limited, the ADB funded project, which recently we have closed. Our employee strength is 55, more than 5500. I mean, including the delivery offices and international office, we have, I mean, more than 5500 staff. In water sector, we have experience of handling large, small, medium river basins, and we have global footprint as well. I mean, Africa, we are covering, I mean, most of the countries in Africa. Recently our team, including, I mean, the team members sitting here and our water team, we are engaged with a lot of projects from Ethiopia, Malawi, and Nile river basins we are handling. We have footprints in Central Asian countries like Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, where the Panj river system, I mean, the longest, I mean, Central Asia river system we are covering. We are doing the flood forecasting there. Our core application is hydrological, hydraulic, water resources, flood forecasting, floodplain zoning, and integrating component with the software to develop the decision support system, means DSS, where we are integrating all those HMS, HECRAS, hydraulic, hydrological model using GIS platform as well as the software application, and we are delivering the client to the DSS, decision support system, where web portal is there. Everything is, I mean, you can see in next slide, like one simple flood information dashboard, like mobile application we are developing. Flood forecasting. We have 5 to 6 flood forecasting projects in India which are running, I mean, for all the, I mean, World Bank funded or ADB funded projects, AP, UP, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, JNK, and Government of Nagaland, WRD. We have developed similar the flood forecasting portal for Dhansiri river basins. So who are from the Government of Nagaland, from WRD, we have recently, I mean, O&M phase, the final installation is, I mean, left. We are about to complete this project in next 1 or 2 months. Then our expertise comes in hydro informatics system, HIS, DSS, then mobile application. We are recently entering in the new, I mean, this sector, topographical as well as the bathymetric survey. Though we have, I mean, limited resource for this, but still we have capacity, we are enhancing it, but radar, LIDAR, bathymetric survey, and all those drone survey we are, I mean, started in-house capacity in RMSI. What is, slide is not moving, can you, from, so under this presentation I will be covering, I mean, lot of things of master planning, concept of river basin master planning, what component it should have there. I mean, because the master plan is the comprehensive document, it is covering almost all aspects of water related, including environmental, water quality, landslide, in this biodiversity, social aspects, which is, I mean, important aspects, stakeholder consultation, water governance, landslides, flood, erosion, sediment, all those major themes we are covering, and I will be touching upon all those points in briefly. There are few points I will be highlighting. I mean, these are the, I mean, primary focus area of these master plan, but there are few things which, I mean, central government and the policies are recommending to involve or consider in the river basin master planning, which were not part of the earlier master plan, the master plan developed by Brahmaputra board. So we are covering here the latest technology, latest guidelines, and all this water governance mechanism in the master plan. So river basin master plan definition, scope, then purpose, then importance of the master plan, why this master plan is required. Basically this is the comprehensive document, but what is the role of various state as well as the central government agencies, and what are the benefits we gains from the master plan. So this will be covering in the presentation. Then policy and institutional framework, the guidance provided by Central Water Commission. First they have drafted this guidance in 1990. Because of some limitations they have upgraded it in 2007. What additional component they have covered in this 2007 guidelines we are covering here. Apart from this, the national water policies, one policy is Government of India drafted in 2002, and then next it was revised in 2012. So what are those components they covered in the national water policy? Then IWRM practices, the latest document report guidelines available is 2016 IWRM guidelines practices, which we are considering here. What additional components they are covering, so we will be considering in this presentation. 2022 in draft stage, but it has not circulated, but finally the comments, feedback, it has not officially published over. But thanks for your the feedback. We are considering this. Yeah. Because like SOP, we recently Brahmaputra board in consultation with RMSI, they have developed SOP, standard operating process, for developing or preparing the master plan. So this is comprehensive document, the SOP, but still it will take some time to go open and for public, or for open source. Still lot of reviews will come from CWC, NDMA, and then state agencies, basically the disaster management authority, water resources departments, and your states, irrigation, agriculture, PhD, all the department will give their feedback. So it may take some time, but thanks for your point. We are already aware of this, but still this is not in public, so we'll consider. We will review this because draft is there, so we can review it and we can consider. And advances, challenges, way forward in RMBMP, as I mentioned in my previous that the whatever this master plan for 52 river basins developed Brahmaputra board, they have got some limitations, the gaps. So we are identifying those gaps, and these guidelines also they are suggesting to incorporate some latest technology. Nowadays this IWRM 2016 they are recommending to use the this machine learning algorithm in this guidelines. So nowadays, because this was 2016 but we are in 2026, so you all are aware nowadays this machine learning AI/ML is the need of the earth. So we are also considering those aspects, what are the benefits, how we can use the AI/ML in this developing the master plan, because AI/ML somehow, not completely, but it going to replace some of the components. They are consuming a lot of manpower, a lot of resources. Like for example, in hydrological as well as the hydraulic model, we are developing tools, the models, taking a lot of manpower, lot of data sets. But what is the benefit of AI/ML? We can also develop the model from AI/ML, machine learning algorithm. What will be the benefit? we know the rainfall of the upstream catchment and what is the major discharge and water level at downstream at the outlet of this basin. We have, I mean, number of records, let's say 20, 25, 30 years data we have in hand, and we also know that particular day in which part of the basin was the heavy, moderate rainfall was there. So we can build a correlation, what is the rainfall, especially in, I mean, north part of the basin is that this amount of rainfall, what will be the water level and discharge at the downstream point at the outlet. So AIML, I mean, not fully, but these aspects they are going to, I mean, replace all those mathematical models for some extent, not full but some extent. And if your model is trained, then we can quickly, if we know the rainfall of the catchment, sub-catchments, then we can assess what will be my water level and discharge tomorrow, day after tomorrow, or after 72 hours, considering the rainfall forecast from the India Meteorological Department. So these are the aspects we are considering in, will cover all those aspects. Apart from those guidelines, policies, we also covering some studies published by ADB, World Bank, some state governments also like FREMA, they are releasing some documents. WRD have some guidelines on their specific field, but we are also considering while preparing those master plans. Then water as a global, okay, that few slides we have covered, like what is the global scenario of water in terms of BCM percentage, and what is the India, I mean, total water availability in terms of surface as well as the groundwater potential. What is the northeast, I mean, the northeast is covering 8 states. What is the northeast potential of water and how much water we are utilizing, groundwater as well as surface water. What is the installed capacity, what is the, I mean, potential, energy potential, hydropower potential, and how much energy we are tapping, I mean, especially in the northeast. So we will be covering all those points. Then water and civilization, I mean, ancient water structures, they are, I mean, maybe 5,000 years ago, how they, I mean, dealing with all water management, drainage system, urban infrastructure, water storage. So I will be touching all those aspects. Then India, then climate change is the one major component, because we are planning something today and then what will happen in 2050, we don't know. But there are some models, the climate change models are there. They are predicting what will happen in 2070, 2100, though it may not replicate 100% what we are forecasting today, but considering the recent advancements, you know, I mean, the computing, all those ensemble models are predicting, they are close to, I mean, somewhere what we are, I mean, temperature is rising, rainfall pattern is changing in the India, especially there is shift from the rainfall heavy, extremely heavy and very heavy rainfall events. There are some shifts we are observing in the India. So similar trend, I mean, we are considering 1901 to 2024, 124 years at 125 years data. Then somehow we can predict what will happen in, I mean, next 2050 on, I mean, larger scale, not a specific location, but larger scale we can compute what will be the water stress, projection, temperature increase, rainfall increase, what will be the water availability, per capita water availability, what is the population growth, because we have trend data, we have data. So there are methods, we will be covering in this training all those methods, domestic water demand, the industrial water demands. So all those future aspects, considering the climate change and the resilience planning, we should, no change nahi ho raha, I'm saying we will be covering all those aspects in there. Then northeast water resources, as I mentioned, opportunity, challenges in northeast, because there are, see, the northeast states are rich in biodiversity. So we, I mean, we are considering all those aspects, environmental ecology, environmental flow, and then designing of the infrastructure, I mean, the plan, I mean, you are designing check dam, then embankment, water harvesting structure in your department, then all those aspects in this master plan is. Then role of Brahmaputra board, as I mentioned, there are 71 identified river basins, out of which 52 are already approved by the government of India. Then remaining are under process, their master plans are being prepared, and then few of them are under tendering stage. So few of them will come. So this Brahmaputra mandate, not only preparing the master plan, but there are, apart from this master plan, there are other mandate as well of the Brahmaputra board. Then gaps and weakness of the earlier master plans will cover. The need of updating river basin master plan. As I mentioned, technology is enhancing, latest technology are coming, manpower, institutional coordination, transparency. Because earlier the departments were hesitating in sharing the data to another department. Nowadays, the departments, the state governments, any department from the state, they are coordinating for any work, research is going on, then sharing the data. All those things are coming, and so it will be covered in the master plan. Objective of the master plan, then components of the master plan, there are different themes which will be covered, and the golden rules, there are 6-7 rules. The document published by ADB and WWF, which we have covered here, we see what they are saying and what is the importance of each aspect of the master plan. Concept of you are belongs to this hydrology, water resources, Brahmaputra board, the water related departments are there. You aware what is the river basin system. There are some features in the river system, just introductory, because some headwaters from glacier melt and snow melt, or from rainfall, or from release from the reservoir. These are the source of water. Apart from the surface water, the other source is groundwater, the base flow, because depending upon the soil strata, what kind of aquifer of soil is there in upstream hilly catchments, the water is the recharging to the ground, and depending upon the layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, they are reaching again to the river system, contributing to the surface water depending upon their aquifer strata. So this entire system is called the river system, or we can call catchment, where all the water contributing to the one particular outlet, in basin outlet, covering the tributary, sub-tributary, distributary and catchment area, then groundwater system, as I mentioned, wetlands and oxbow lakes and all covering, and this we call river basin or river system. Then planning, river basin planning is the integrated component where managing the water, considering all those land, resource, manpower, livelihood, socio-economic and sustainable and equitable. Earlier master plan, those components were not there, because sustainable, we as per guidelines also, they have not covered all those aspects very rigorously, but now they are focusing on the environmental aspects, biodiversity, ecological balance and all. So for resilience and sustainable developments, we are considering all those aspects. River basin master plan, as I mentioned, different components are there which will broadly cover the water availability, surface as well as the groundwater. Surface includes rainfall generated, storage structure, lake, reservoir and the groundwater. Groundwater, because the reports are available from CGWB, Central Groundwater Board. For state specific reports, they are also publishing, state specific, and for entire India they are also on annual basis they are publishing the reports. So their data, block level information are available, but blocks are administrative boundaries, districts are administrative boundaries. How we can estimate the water resources for a particular basins which are falling from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks or districts? So we have some mechanism we will be covering in our hands-on sessions, how we estimate the water resources for a particular basin. If we have data, surface water, groundwater data for a block level or district level. Then apart from this, the demand, because once we estimated this water resources, groundwater and surface water, then one is availability, another one is the demand. how much water we are consuming. There are, in master plan, we are considering the domestic water demand, industrial water demand, agriculture water demand, which is the major component. Agriculture is the major component, around 75 to 80% goes to the, agriculture, and livestock water demand. We have data from the, different agencies. So how we estimate these demands and how you project, today if my domestic water demand for particular city is this much BCM, MCM, then what will be my water demand for that, considering the population growth in hand, because these aspects we need to cover in the master plan. So there are some methods, formulas, how to estimate the future population growth and their water demand. So all those water demand, whether it is domestic, whether it is agriculture, whether it is irrigation, we have some standard guidelines and rules, like 35 liter per capita or 135 for rural, urban, they have classified. So we'll consider. And one important information I would like to share, whatever we are presenting here, whatever we will present, we will be having some background, the source, the guidelines, because they are not the assumptions, but the values have been considered or will be considered, will be based on some standard or guidelines or publications. Then ecology, environment, fisheries, because the northeast states are rich in biodiversity, so we will consider this. And flood is not a subject of risk or loss, or we have some benefit from flood as well, like pulse hydrology. Pulse hydrology means the annual low magnitude flood can enhance the ecological balance nearby the river, can fertile the land, the biodiversity can increase. If there is no annual flood, then this ecological balance will not be there. Like the Brahmaputra near Kaziranga, this belt, it's maintaining the low magnitude floods on annual or once in 2 years, they are creating and strengthening this ecological balance of the Brahmaputra river system. Infrastructure development, what are the schemes like hydropower projects we are planning to consider, because you mostly belongs to the water resources division. So I think it will be useful for you if we tell you to identify a hydropower potential site, considering the topography and the area in the GIS. We can tell you this is the feasible site to, not large scale, but depending upon the topography, elevation ahead, the storage behind this, we can propose this could be the best feasible site for developing a hydropower project or a small scale projects. And then balance supply, reduce disaster risk, we will be covering. Ecosystems we will be covering. Then priority action and investment. Suppose we, funding provision, like we have X amount of fund available with the department, there are XYZ schemes are there, we have identified something in the particular river basin, we identified that, okay, this is the major problem of this basin, like drinking water problem or water quality issues or floods, erosion, whatever problem could be there, but each basin are having some specific issues related to water. So we can also prioritize our investment, what should be our first focus, first priority, and then this should be our second priority. Similar we will be studying here. Then basin development, roadways, catchment area treatments and all we will be covering. How we consider the catchment area treatment, local basin specific issues, and then priorities action, then climate change resilience. Climate change models we will be covering, different models, ensemble models. My colleague will be taking this presentation, that these are the models, these are their benefits, these are their drawbacks. Government of India is adopting those models. In India, these models are out of 36-35 global models. In India, we are considering these 6-7 models, because nowadays everybody is talking about the climate change. So climate change is the vast subject. Everything happening is not because of the climate change, but people are relating to it, the climate change. There could be other phenomena. So what is climate change we are covering this and how it is impacting those water resources assessment in the basin scale in the northeast river basins. Purpose of RBMP, the purpose is all whatever gaps are there, as Chief Engineer Sir was saying, this is the comprehensive document related to water. So comprehensive documents means it's covering all aspects. So to decide, to plan something in the basin, to identify the issue in the basins, we will be considering some case studies as per schedule, because the Krong and the other basins in Meghalayas, we have some issues, challenges the basins are facing. So we will be covering all those aspects. Then what will be the possible solutions for those issues? Then equitable water, there should be a mechanism to allocate water. In this study, the CWC guidelines and other following guidelines, they are recommending the tools for water allocation, like REBASIM is the tool, CWC 2007 is there. So REBASIM is the tool which provide you what should be the allocation for agriculture, how much, drinking is this much, irrigation this much. Considering all this balance, if you consume the water in our sector, the another sector should not suffer. So considering all those aspects, we will be having some hands-on tools demonstration for you, and you will also be having some demonstration, because I discussed with director sir, he is saying the GIS lab is there, so the computer GIS license is there, so we can have some hands-on demonstration for a specific particular topic. Then e-governance, there are different components, policy, capacity building, that this training is the part of capacity building to the department officials. Director sir was telling that earlier, the earlier time, whatever master plans were developing the in-house, the manual work was there, and there was no mechanism of review and validate all those aspects. But the capacity building nowadays, this master plan is having one specific component, the capacity building training, so that the department engineers can be trained and they can review the master plan outputs. They can validate from their perspective that this particular basin, this is the information, considering the master plan is correct or not. So the validation and then stakeholder consultations are a part of it. So stakeholders can contribute, okay, this information we are facing this issue, so you can consider this issue, and this issue has not been resolved in your master plan, like this feedback mechanism will also be there in the master plan. Then we already discussed the stakeholder engagement, because community participation, I have visited in the Krong Basin in Arunachal, Itanagar, and the downstream part as well. So nowadays, like if you are approaching to the community which is living nearby to the basin area, agriculture, farmer, or whatever, the livelihood aspects they are doing, there for near the river basin communities, they are always there to support you. Earlier used to happen, like if someone is going to the nearby community, so they were not telling the correct input, okay, like in which year there was a flood, in 2002 what will be the level of flood. Then earlier days, people were hesitating in sharing the information, but nowadays the community is participating. So community participation is pillar of this master plan, because we are considering this is must required component. One should have a stakeholder consultation for all the aspects, all the themes. Then one more thing is the transboundary issues. This is the major concern, because most of the rivers in northeast, like Brahmaputra, majority of area is water is coming from upstream, like Beki, Manas. Most of the discharge, contributing area beyond the Indian territory, Bhutan or China. So transboundary issues are not, have not been properly addressed in previous master plans. Still there are challenges, we cannot cover all 100%, it should be, but it depends on the policy framework, what is the data sharing agreement and all, but still we can have the fallback option. Fallback option means if we are not receiving data from the upstream authorities or neighboring states, then what should be the option B, because this is option B should be always there. So considering all, because GIS and the technologies, satellite imagery is there, then we can easily estimate. In absence of the data, we can estimate what could be the contribution from upstream area and what could be the phenomena of basin characteristic from transboundary areas. CWC 2007 guidelines, these, if you have gone through this 2007 guidelines, they have classified the master plan in chapters. Chapter 1 should cover this, chapter 2 cover this, then data, one separate chapter should be there. Then for water demand, the chapter should be there. Water resources assessment, they should have one separate chapter. This master plan, we are preparing or we are demonstrating here, we are covering all the aspects of CWC 2007 guidelines. Apart from this, we are considering some latest technology tools, and like dashboard was not part of the earlier guideline. Then survey, because huge primary survey is being carried out in the field, like bathymetric survey, LIDAR survey, then water quality sampling in the field, because all the basins are falling. These 15 rivers, if you talk about the 15 river basins, then they are falling in the remote areas. So on those remote areas, accessibility is the major issue. Going and surveying, taking bathymetric survey is the challenge. It's taking time, but it is validating your outputs. What outputs you are providing, it's validating. So apart from the primary survey, the secondary data is also being collected. Your departments have already been reached out number of times for sharing the data for this basin, whether it is Mizoram, Manipur or Nagaland. So we are connecting to all the officials, departments. We have got good support in terms of data. And one major problem in the data part is data is not digitized format. The departments are maintaining the register, and sometimes we also face that data like there is no gap. Otherwise, if someone is maintaining the register, there should be gaps, one or two, because you person might be on leave or could not take the the readings and all. But whatever the scanned documents, PDFs were there, they are not in digital format. So one aspect is that the digitalization should be there. Data digitization should be there, because you all know what is GIS functionality. The GIS we can feed, and you are maintaining the register. You don't know after 1 month, 2 months or 1 year, where will be your the register or documents you are recording the data. But if you are entering the data in the Excel or the GIS is the best option. So how you are managing your data, that is also important. And once you have the missing data in between, then how to interpolate, how to fill the gaps before using those data, that thing will be covering in this training program. And then CWC guideline also emphasis, they are recommending that all the themes should be covered. So there are several themes like landslide, hydrology, ecosystem, flood risk. These the major themes they are covering. Then soil, land use, planning and all. Water quality is the another aspect. Interbasin water transfer. Though in northeast state, all the rivers are, mostly the rivers are water rich. There is no deficiency of water. But master plan, it also consider this aspect that if some river basins which are, there is some scarcity of water, then there should be a provision or feasible solution to transfer water from nearby basin to another basin. So these aspects we are complete. And then one more thing, like DSS, I am talking about the DSS, decision support system. The master plan will be integrated to the GIS based decision support system. No license is required. QGIS, because QGIS does not require any license, RGIS required. So QGIS based decision support system will be there. We will demonstrate one or two case studies, how the decision support system looks like, what are the input outputs. Where, for example, for master planning, let's say in Meghalaya, Basin X have some problem, and then we are recommending some solutions. So we are proposing some solution, then it will go to the DSS, and then there will be a provision to review and revisit after 6 months, 1 year, what is happening, I mean what solution we have implemented. So always there will be option to regenerate the scenario based on the solution provided in the DSS. So because reports are the hard copies may not be handy or feasible everybody to carry and everybody to read, go through. So the DSS will be the component where everything will be there, their master plan, which year is prepared, next cycle, what it included, major components it included, latest advancements it has covered, and the implementation strategies. I mean we have proposed something and what is the status, it implemented or not, if implemented, what is the scenario, before implementation what was the scenario, after implementation what was the scenario, whether improvement has been recorded or not. Similar visualization or this scenario based exercise we can have in the DSS. As I mentioned, recommendation in the National Water Policy. See, in National Water Policy 2002 and National Water Policy 2012, the big difference, because they are covering all the aspects apart from these few things like ecology, environment, and the water, and this equity, water, I mean sectoral water allocation in the 2012. One major component, that difference is that the earlier National Water Policy, which was developed in 2002, it was not covering this, it was considered a design based on India level, I mean the overall guidelines if you consider a major river basin. But see, the problem, you will not get a solution of a problem if you are considering all the river basins with the same recommendation and same approach. For specific basin, your approach should be different. So in National Water Policy 2012, they are recommending to consider, or your approach should be basin specific. Arunachal and Assam river basins are totally different in the character if you compare with Meghalaya or Mizoram basins. Meghalaya river basins are having, even Meghalaya river basins, because 10 river basins are there in the study, is still the basin to basin you can see the variation, what are the local issues. Basin wise you may face, I mean this basin is witnessing this problem, another basin is another problem. So in northeast states, all those river basins are different in characteristics and different in nature and different in the problems, issues are there. Like plain area in Assam, the flooding, erosion, these are the major issues, flooding, erosion and water quality aspects. On upper reaches in the Arunachal, the spring shed regeneration issue, the landslide issue, those issues are there, which these issues are may not be seen in the lower part, because lower part the basin characteristics is different. And the Brahmaputra river basins, the major problem is the flooding and sediment and erosion. Sediment deposition, somewhere it is erosion, and the flooding is the common phenomenon in Brahmaputra. Why it is? Because I will covering in the next slide, because the place where Brahmaputra is entering into the India, Arunachal or Assam, there is a steep slope. The moment it enters to the Assam or Arunachal, the India border, gentle slope, the plain slope is there. So whatever the silt, sediment coming from upstream part, it's depositing near the plain area. With the deposition is reducing the carrying capacity of the river, and ultimately it's leading to the flooding problems in the region. Uh, 2016 national this integrated water resources management IWRM practices adopt multi-sector, multi-organization and multi aspects, emphasizing as given in the social as well as environmental planning. So earlier it was not there, but now the sustainable solution and environment social issues have been are to be covered in this IWRM 2016 practices. Then efficient water allocation as discussed, and then environmental flow, as I mentioned, ecological is the prime, the focus. Institutional coordination among, because we are running some projects here in Assam and other agencies. So what I have noticed over the months, if Brahmaputra board is executing or planning or carrying out some study for particular basin, another department is also executing similar kind of study. Though their officials know each other that okay, your same study is going on for your part, my study is also going for the same river basin, but some plus minus components I am doing. They know, each other they are doing, the departments know that the studies are going on there for particular river basins and the 70-80% scope is same. Still there are no official communication what we are conducting in the basin. So this institutional transparency, because ultimately this is the waste of money, because same thing department X is doing and same thing is repeating the another department with some one or two additional component. So it is wastage of resources. So but I have come across that they know, but there is no provision, there are no provision or the rules in the departments so that they can discuss with the department, they can have the meetings, but there are no policies, frameworks, laws, governance. So we should also think on those aspects, because if we collectively, the departments, data sharing, information sharing, transparency, so that will ultimately enhance the water governance and policy governance, and we can use the optimum utilization of the resource. So these are the some aspects we come across while reviewing the data, while going through the departmental meetings and all. We came to know that some departments are working in isolation mode, so that there should be integrated approach. So IWRM suggesting multi-sector, multi-department and institutional governance. There should be a clear transparency among the departments. One department should be there who can head or lead the discussions, or the governing committee should be there. In Assam there are in this direction the work is happening, because departments are constituting some committees, governance committees, which are covering the different departments which are contributing to the water sector, like irrigation, PHED, water resources departments, disaster management. All those departments are coming together to form this governing committee to resolve the water related issue. But there was lack of those these kind of problems there in earlier master plans, and we are highlighting all those issues. What should be the next stage in the master plan. We should attempt all those aspects. And then advance, as I mentioned, in earlier master plans, because there was limited manpower, limited technologies. Now if the enhancement of emerging technology and then governance work, if we work together, then we can have a better understanding of a river basin, like decision support system, LIDAR based terrain models. LIDAR based, for a particular river system or a small town or a area, if LIDAR based survey terrain data, the sub-meter accuracy, we can predict that tomorrow or day after tomorrow, considering the the rainfall forecast from the IMD, we can predict this building is going to be affected or not. Why? Because the technology is there. We are capturing the terrain in such a way, the sub-meter, the entire building is capturing. if tree is there, a culvert is there, embankment is there, some undulation in the topography is there, we are capturing all those aspects, the topography of the river basin using the lidar based advanced technology. That's why we are able to predict this area will be getting inundated in next 24 hours, 48 hours. But we should have, because inundation map, we should have a correct, accurate and high resolution terrain data that will come from that these advancements. And of course the rainfall forecast accuracy, whatever the agencies like India Meteorological Department here and the offices near airport, IMD regional office, they are also providing the forecast. For the region specific, they are having this network there. So they are predicting, and depending upon the prediction, WRF models, we can come to a conclusion that X amount of rainfall is occurring in this area and your topography is there, and then considering the travel time or routing functionalities of the models, we can predict accurate water level at the downstream. So these are the aspects we are covering. Then real time hydrology, okay, the real time like RTDAS, real time data acquisition system, most of the departments are coming and building the capacity on RTDAS, like government of this water resources department, government of Nagaland, they are having their RTDAS system. We are using this in the Dhansiri flood forecasting model. So if we, and one more thing, if we are capturing this data on 15 minutes interval, because you might have seen the rainfall is the characteristic, like 3 or 4 kilometers from here we can have a good amount of rainfall, and here we are not having similar amount of. And nowadays, after studying the long term data, nowadays the short duration high intensity rainfall are increasing. Short duration high intensity, few places you might have noticed rainfall is happening, heavy rainfall for 1 hour or 2 hours, then gone. So until unless we don't have any mechanism to capture those rainfall, because RTDAS is the only way we can capture those rainfall, RTDAS, then only we can able to predict the flood in the downstream part. So the state governments and then some funding agencies are coming forward, they are implementing similar projects, studies, that RTDAS system should be there in terms of rainfall and water level of the system. And of course the use of AIML, as I told you the example that AIML is the once you have the good amount of data, then you need not to develop your numerical model or physical model once you have AIML data sets and trained model with your. So these are some emerging technologies we are considering in the new master plan, and then again as I mentioned, institutional governance, participatory decision making, policy, regulatory among the department, the governing body, transparency, monitoring and evaluation which can be done using the DSS. So these are the new advances which are coming, and government is also suggesting to cover in the master plan all those aspects. Now we have already discussed what are the new upcoming technologies, advancements, but implementing those advanced technologies into the real world and in practical, it's not so easy task. So there are some issues like that, data insufficiency. As I mentioned, all the the data, mostly the departments are maintaining the data in the register also. So scanned copy are there, a lot of missing data are there. So the data digitization should be the prime objective, and then there should be a database, the GIS database or Excel or MS Access, whatever database we can use. It should be digital format. Data should be in digital format. And the data availability, one thing, data is not available within the department. Another part is data is available within the department, but department is not sharing the data because this data sharing is not in their the policy, the department policy here. Because earlier the mechanism was not like that. You can say the data to the another department like agriculture to irrigation, irrigation to horticulture, or Brahmaputra board center, because state government can share the data to each other, but once you comes to the central government agency like Brahmaputra board, there are some regulatory frameworks, policies within the department. Most of the departments, they are able to share the data like we are collecting the data, but still we know some departments are having the data, but data is not being received because this is not in their policy, the department policy. Though some data is classified data, like Central Water Commission, they cannot share data because there are some issue like the data falls in the classified category. So there are also mechanism to share the data. They are having the committee meetings, the data releasing, the committee is there, they are having the meetings at head office CWC Delhi, then they release the data. But there is a procedure, but there are few departments who do not having any procedure of sharing the data. We know data is there, so this data department only can use this data, no other department can use this data. So it's, the two things are there. Once we do not have any data, another one is we have the data, but data has not been received by the agency because there is no laws or policies to sharing the data among these departments like this. Another one is if you have the data, but you have a lot of data gaps. Data is there, 30 years data is there, but you cannot use this data because like I am checking the data Excel sheet, entire year data for 365 days. I am from the 1st of January I am checking the data up to May, the complete data is there. Because why this is complete data? Because the person who is entering the data, the water level, because there is no much change in the water level. If the 14th of April I have something X, 23.5, the reading of water level at particular location, there is no rainfall, only the base flow is coming, seasonal flow is coming, then after 10 days the same flow will be there, same water level will be there. So the person who is entering, the official who is entering the data, he is entering because the person knows that okay, there was no change in the flow last 7 days or 2 weeks, so he is entering entire data, so there is no missing gaps. But you comes to the flood season where lot of variation is there in the water level, discharge, rainfall is a lot of variations, then you may have lot of missing values are there because you cannot, what is the rainfall today, what is the rainfall tomorrow, what is the water level today, what was the water level yesterday, what was the water level day before. So person cannot judge because it's driving by what is the amount of rainfall occurred in the upstream catchment, so it cannot fill. So lot of data gaps are there, missing values are there. So there are some procedures are there how to fill those gaps. Rainfall we have another process, water level we have another process, quality data we have another process. So different data have different gap filling methods. So we will be covering those aspects as well, so that your department, there are some statistical tools are also there, confidence band 5%, 10% like this you can consider. Some data you can discard directly, okay, this data, and if the data is 2-3% gaps are there, you simply select all those 2-3% and you delete the records. But the huge gap is there, 40%, 30%, then you should have some mechanism to fill those gaps. Then integration, institutional readiness we already discussed. Then uncertainty in the climate scenario already discussed. There are number of numerous climate models are there. Few of them are predicting very well, few of them are not predicting well. So their ensemble models are there. The bundles of 20, 25, 30, 35 models are there. The models are predicting what would be the rainfall scenario, temperature scenario in next 25 years, 20 years, 30 years. So this is larger phenomena. Climate change is not the regional, this local or regional specific phenomena. It's cover a lot of areas. So we'll be covering all those things. Interstate transboundary issues we already discussed. Water, you all are aware this, we have kept few slides here. Like 71% of the earth surface is covered by water, but fresh water we are having only 3% or 2.5%. then because we are not, and this out of 3%, 1% water is available, less than 1% water is available for human use. Then glacier ice caps are majority of stake, I mean 69 or 70%. Then 30% is groundwater. Maximum potential, I mean 99% water potential is glacier, ice, and then groundwater. Surface water is only 1%. So these are the some statistics, and then I think I should not cover the earlier days. I mean 5,000 years ago, what was the mechanism to store the water? There was some stepping well kind of technology was there. This water storage structure, I mean, used to be there. Then they, I mean, different kind of irrigation, drainage network, city, urban planning. 5,000, 10,000 years ago, they were having similar kind of. But why not today? Because we should learn from our ancient. Then there are some stages of water. Like the first stage there, I am discussing like 10,000, 5,000 years ago. How, I mean, the societies and this all this lifestyle, nomadic lifestyle to settle agriculture along the river valley. So lot of cities you can find they are situated near the river bank. So because this is coming from years ago. Then second stage, the water revolution was the second, I mean, industrial revolution from 1870 to 1900 or 1920, when dams, culverts, I mean the sanitation, those things, technologies advancement are started coming. Nowadays in the third stage, we are not discussing about much about the what would be the structure, dam. We are more concerned about the degradation of the resources, degradation of the quality, ecological misbalance, then environmental issues, air pollution. Like in Delhi, you might have, I mean, heard in Delhi the AQI index beyond 1000 nowadays, and it's persistent from last 2-3 months. So we are lucky here, we are having 1 week here. So otherwise it is difficult, because we are degrading those resources, ultimately are going to affect our society, whether it is water, whether it is land, whether it is whatever our resources are there, forest. So in the third age, I mean today, we will more discuss about the balance, ecological balance, the environmental balance, socio-economical balance, the livelihood, the communities which are living near the rivers, they should not face, I mean, issues. So then stakeholder consultation, I mean discussion. In this, I mean, all those guidelines, IWRM 2016, NWP 2012 and NWP 2022, these as aspects like water resources conservation, sustainability, environmental, climate change, environmental degradation, these issues are, I mean, being highlighted, and we should give the priority to those aspects. If you are designing some dam, building some hydropower project, then you should have a mechanism to restore the biodiversity, the fish production in the river system. You should have proper, environmental release, the proper forest restoration, environmental restoration plans. So then, I mean, these are some India's society and economic developments. Like just after the independence, we built those Bakra Nangal, Damodar Valley Corporation. So advancement were there, I mean, that time, because the multi-purpose, the dams were built, Bakra Nangal, Damodar Valley, for hydropower, irrigation, industrial, flood control. These were the main prime objective of this. So today, of course, we should think about this, but we should keep in mind the ecological balance, social aspect, and the environment balance. Our resource should not degrade, I mean, so that we may face the problem in future. Because ultimately, I mean, you might be listening from, I mean, someone that the third or fourth, whatever the world war would be there, then it will be because of the water. Because resources are qualities, water qualities, air qualities. So we should maintain, and there should be a balance among this. Then India's water stress, major issues, India's water system, high water consumption in the agriculture sector. As I mentioned, 75 to 80% consumption of water goes towards the agriculture, irrigation, and there is no optimum use. If we if you have water available, then we can use. There is no storage of the water so that we can use in the non-monsoon, because non-monsoon, here in northeast, I have seen in the Assam, in the non-monsoon season, there are some scarcity of water. The water is not there, drinking water problem in some areas, and during the monsoon season you can see the water is there in everywhere, the water you can see. So we should use, optimum utilization should be there. You should plan such a way that we should not face any water scarcity during the post monsoon or the lean season, and you should not be face any flooding scenario during the monsoon season. In the country, India as a whole, 40 million hectare is the flood prone area. 40 million hectare flood prone area, and 7.5 million hectare of land affected annually. These are data is coming from some sources. Then 1600 lives are lost each year. Then 1800 crore worth damage recording annually. If you see, because this study is published by NRSC in 2023, the highest impacted flood affected state is Bihar. Almost 45%, 43, 44, 45% state area is getting flooded, on average annual basis. I have visited when I was working in the Kosi flood forecast system. You can't imagine how the people are living there. Their 3-4 months are on embankment only. Most of the communities are the river embankment. They are homeless for months. Half of the state is underwater, Bihar, the situation like this. Ganga, Kosi, all those. The next highest is the Assam, because of Brahmaputra. Assam is almost 35 or 32 to 35% area is impacted by the flood inundation. And there are few districts, like I have worked in the project which are Kopli, PGCL. There are few districts which are getting inundated 100%. The Nagaon district is there, near the confluence of Kopli and Brahmaputra. In the flood season, and earlier days the water problem, the inundation problem was there for some 3, 4, 5 years. Nowadays, these years, almost on each year, the region is facing the inundation problem. So we should have, in master plan, we should have plan to consider all those problems, because as I mentioned, the Brahmaputra is having different problem, Dikrong, upstream part another problem, downstream part another problem, Meghalaya river system different problem, like Mizoram river systems, they are, the water quality and all those issues. Different problems are there in different river systems. So we should handle, we should emphasize all those, what are the problems, the major problems. Climate change, yes, I have discussed this. IPCC, there are some models are there. The resources are drying, the climate change is, temperature is increasing. Northeast river system, water resources, see the northeast covering 8 states, covering 8% of the nation's geographical area, contributes nearly 1/3 of the India's total surface water resources potential, and 8% of India's annual extractable groundwater resources as per CWC data. So we have plenty of water here, water rich states are there in the all 8 states, but as I mentioned, during the flooding problem, and during post monsoon or lean season, the water scarcity, the problem of drinking water, most of the states are facing. If there is no water available, if the water is available in the lean season, the water quality is not good. So these are the issues which northeast state we should consider And then again I am saying the conservation of the biodiversity and environment issues, we should focus on those aspects. Then region also holds major share of the nation's hydropower potential. 41% India's total hydroelectric. See, around 63,000 megawatt is the power potential of northeast state, which is 40% of total India's power potential. But how much we are tapping? 2%, less than 2%. We are not tapping entire, because less than 2% the installed power capacity is there. So, lot of scope is there in northeast, and opportunities and challenges of northeast. These are the opportunities, as I mentioned: hydropower development greater than, more than 60,000 megawatt, inland waterways, fisheries, aquaculture, biodiversity enhancement. These are some potential opportunities, benefit. Then flood erosion management, climate resilience, water planning, industrial and urban growth. Then we are discussing here northeast only, but apart from these opportunities, there are some challenges in the northeast river systems. As I mentioned, Brahmaputra river is witnessing recurring floods and bank erosion. This is the major problem. High sediment load from the topography, slopes, and then climate vulnerability, because extremes are increasing. High magnitude, short duration rainfall events are increasing, which are creating the flash flood kind of situation. In the Brak, also in the Silchar, you might have heard a lot of flash flood incidents are there. In the Assam as well, the Meghalaya, the wettest state, the Cherrapunji, Munshiram, these are the places where highest rainfall is being recorded. Then poor infrastructure and maintenance is also the issues. What we are regulating are maintaining the infrastructure. Then transboundary issues, because water is not entirely in our control, because most of the basins, the water is coming from the upstream boundaries and the Bhutan, China. So we have some limitations, but as I mentioned, there are some advancement, so we can estimate. If the upstream part there is dam, then it can be captured, though these are the we can capture the inundation. What is the storage capacity? If they release 40%, what will be the impact in Assam or Arunachal? If they release 100%, what will be the impact? Similar kind of scenario we have to generate in order to see the upstream, the release impact in the downstream states. Deforestation is the major problem. Zoom cultivation is the another issues you all are aware. So somehow we should consider what best can be done on those aspects. Ecological fragility, then limited data and forecasting capacity. The limited data is always there. This is in our hand. We can share the data each other, and we can manage the data, maintain the data in the soft copy. Role of Brahmaputra board, as I mentioned, the role is well defined, and 52 master plans have already approved, and some more are in line. Some master plans are ongoing under preparations, like we are preparing for 15 river basins. The other agencies are also preparing for remaining basins. So Brahmaputra mandate is not limited up to the master plan. You are aware, because there are a lot of flood control schemes are there maintaining, because we have seen in the Meghalaya also there the river embankment, stabilization of the river bank, similar kind of projects the Brahmaputra board is running. Then multiple dams, then feasibility studies, then some DPRs, then some supporting to the state governments in their their work. So these kind of Brahmaputra board, this is the picture I want to show, the presence of Brahmaputra board. It's representing in the all states, the picture showing the regional as well as the SC offices, though this head office is missing in this picture, but still we can see that Brahmaputra board presence is there in almost all northeast states. So like we have visited number of states, then we are getting supports from the division offices. Brahmaputra board, they are coordinating with the state agencies to get the data, receive the data, they are engaging the discussions with the state departments. So, and this is the current study, what study, the master plan we are preparing. There are 15 river basins in the list. Most of them are, fall in Meghalaya, south flowing river basins. 1, 2 and 3, 4, this Dikhau and Jhansi, Dikrong and Simpson, the master plans have already been prepared by Brahmaputra board, but they are being revised because they are prepared, they have prepared in 90s, okay, 1997, 1995, lot of gaps are there. While we reviewing, we can see lot of gaps are there. No validation was performed. So we are updating the master plan, the 4 river basin master plans we are updating, then remaining 11 master plans we are preparing from scratch. Meghalaya 10 basins, 2 basins Jhansi, Dikhau, which is a part of Nagaland and Assam. Dikrong is part of Arunachal as well as Assam. Karnafuli and other basins, Mizoram, and then Mangipui, Lui and sub basins again in Mizoram. So these are 15 river basins. As of now, as of today, our progress is because huge amount of primary data is required from field. So because of some limitation, approval, the drone survey, in between we have seen some conflict with Bangladesh. So nearby area we couldn't able to conduct the survey activities because of delay in the receiving permission from the competent authorities. So this survey part is got delayed. That's why as of now we are in carrying out the survey in the Meghalaya. The remaining basin survey was already completed. The data has been collected. There are few departments. The data is yet to received, but we are anticipating that whatever data required we have already received. Now we are not going to get any data because whosoever said, they already shared the data. So by March 2026 we will be able to submit this data compilation report and some progress of the next phase of this work. These were the gaps: limited data and site visits, limited survey investigation, survey was not there in previous master plan, recommendation was generalized like a National Water Policy 2002. The recommendation should be site specific. If you are facing any water quality issue, drinking water challenge, then it should be specific to the particular river basin at particular space, because we can see, we will show you the Dikrong study, the water quality, number of observations and what are their permissible limit of water quality. So some observations are showing good quality, some are showing, not up to the standard. So if you cannot generalize your recommendation for entire basin, like somewhere we are facing flood problem, erosion problem, the water quality issues, the landslide problem, and then landslide problem is some issues are there, some pockets are there, not entire river basin, not upstream part. So generalized recommendation was there, so we are enhancing it and the focus on structural aspects. Then focus on structural, there was no non-structural mitigation measures in the previous plans. Then no public engagement. They attempted, whosoever was the consultant, they attempted to the government agencies, whatever data they received, they compiled and submitted. So there are, scopes to improve it. No environmental aspects, untapped technology nowadays, because the technology is coming these years. So we are, trying to integrate those technologies like remote sensing, satellite, sentinel data, the AIML technology, DSS, modeling tools. No catchment area plan, but in this study the catchment area treatment plan, depending upon the basin, it is proposed. Need of RBMP, as you are already aware, the comprehensive document which require a lot of technological advancement, climate change scenario, need of stakeholder engagement, advancement, because whatever gaps were there in the previous master plans, we are covering in those master plans, including the, because they have also included something, some chapters as per guidelines provided by Central Water Commission in 1990. The 1995, 1996, 1997 plans were developed based on CW sheet 1990, the recommendations. Now lot of policy recommendations are coming, so we are considering this. Objective, this integrated basin level planning, the scientific, institutional coordination, advanced tools, I have discussed all those. Integrated risk, ecosystem management, stakeholder participation, we had number of consultation with the local community stakeholders, whosoever is using the water in all these river basins. Most of the places we have visited, our team has visited, they were 2-3 months they were in the field. So climate change adaptation resilience, then decision support system, we will show you, we have already discussed. Adaptive planning, guidance for infrastructure and investment prioritization. One more thing I would like to say, whatever technologies we are suggesting in the river basin master plan, it should be implementable, the practical, because considering the several aspects of the basin, we have suggested something, but it should be economically viable or easy to implement at that particular location. So we should try, that's why the stakeholder consultation is required, because it should be implementable. Then components, these are component: climate change, water availability, erosion, sediment, water resources allocation, flood, drought management, water supply, water quality management, water use efficiency, ecosystem, infrastructure development, and wastewater treatment. The major components are there. There are few more components, advancement of technologies and all, we will be covering this in this. Stakeholder involvement is the key to the success of the master plan. Without involvement of the stakeholders, stakeholder means the local agencies which are involved in the water related aspects, the communities which are using the water from the basin areas, and the departments which are directly linked to the basin, like agriculture department, PhD, sanitation, water resources department, disaster management department, the forest department. All those departments are the key the primary stakeholders to be considered in this master plan. Some documents like the ADB, UNESCO, they published one report, how to manage the basin planning. So they suggested some golden rules for basin planning. We have covered mostly, but there are some points I would like to highlight. And like rule number 2, plan and take action even in the absence of computer knowledge. So we should act, whatever limited information available with us within your department, we should use this information. We should find out some logical correlation of available information and data, and so that we can optimize the water resources in the basin. Then thematic plans already there, address issue, stakeholder strengthening already there, because all the guidelines are suggesting to strengthen this stakeholder institutional relationship. Then we already discussed this. What is the timing? Let's break. Okay, we are running behind, so I'll be taking 5 more minutes, and I'm covering this entire. So northeast river basins, major part is covered by Brahmaputra river, and major portion is coming from transboundary area, the Bhutan, China, like Beki and the Sankos, these are coming from Bhutan, and Brahmaputra as a majority of part is from China. Apart from this, these are the Barak river system also, the southern river of the Meghalaya as well as this Mizoram, and some part of these nearby states are contributing to some isolated basins are there which are draining to the Bangladesh and the Myanmar and then Bangladesh near the southern part of this. So majority part of this northeast river systems are the Brahmaputra and Barak river systems. These are, I mean, the map with the states like Manipur, Nagaland, some part is going to Brahmaputra, another part is going to this another basis, Imphal and other sub-basins. If you see out of the total Brahmaputra, I mean the right hand side table is only for Brahmaputra basins. Out of total catchment area of Brahmaputra 5,79,600, about 50% of the area is in China, and then 33%, one third area falls in India, then remaining area falls in the Bhutan and the Bangladesh. Within the India, majority of stake, I mean the contribution is coming from Arunachal, the Dikrong and Subansiri and the other river systems, and then second is 36% Assam. Then remaining states are, I mean, contributing 5-6% range in terms of their catchment area. So key facts of the northeast river basins, these are the, I mean the 8 states, okay, northeast. The region accounts only for 8% of nation's geographic area, but contributes one third of its surface water potential. Brahmaputra and Merak are the major river system. Then as per CGW report, 8% of the India's annual extractable water is groundwater, from the groundwater resources. More than, I mean 60,000 I mean the hydropower potential in these 80 states, but this is 40% of the total potential of India's total installed capacity, but we are tapping only less than 2%. I mean the installed capacity is very low. This is this slide shows the characteristics of Brahmaputra basin. What I have discussed in summarizing here, like here you can see this place Nimachi, Barwa, where the, I mean, somewhere Pasigati, somewhere here, Arunachal entrance and then Assam entrance. See the drop. Whatever silt and sediment falling here, it depositing here, and the plain area is there. This is Assam part from up to this Dhubri. Okay, so and from Dibrugarh to Dhubri, the general slope is there. The major cause of flooding is this, I mean, longitudinal profile. Whatever sediments load is coming, depositing here near the plain area of Assam and Arunachal, specifically in Assam, and reducing the carrying capacity of the river Brahmaputra, and you know what is the consequences. And then the rainfall, annual rainfall, see the annual rainfall somewhere here, the 6,000 to, this is the, I mean, for Brahmaputra basin annual rainfall considering the data for 50 years for India part, and the width is more than 10 kilometer, changing the Majuli island, you know, that area is, you know, shrinking year by year. We have studied, lot of studies are there. Then flooding problem, nowadays you might have seen the flooding in Guwahati, not because of Brahmaputra, because of, I mean, heavy rainfall, short duration, high intensity rainfall. This year, last year, I mean before year, I have seen last 2-3 years, I can see, you might have noticed, Guwahati city is in a horrible condition. I mean everywhere there was flooding because of the heavy rainfall. Nowadays the pattern is changing, and the embankment breach, the sediment, these are the then breeding characteristics of Brahmaputra river. So these are the characteristics of the Brahmaputra river. Lot of variations are there, then sediment, erosion problems are there, which are creating these, I mean, flooding issues, the nearby regions, nearby areas. In terms of seasonal rainfall of these 8 states, Meghalaya is witnessing highest rainfall beyond 3,500 mm, mostly in the southwest monsoon season, but again there is a good amount of rainfall in the pre-monsoon season valleys in all the northeast, the states. Highest in Meghalaya, followed by Arunachal Pradesh and Assam and Sikkim and Tripura as well. So, see, India's annual average rainfall is 1000, 1100 in this range. So, see, northeast states are receiving good amount of rainfall in terms of total annual rainfall we talk about. Just I am closing this, closing in next 5 minutes. Okay. Then physiographic features in northeast river basins, like northeast river basins, there are all kinds of physiographic, fields, the plateau, then valley, then lakes, ridge, then all those features we can see in the northeast river basins. Thank you very much for your attention, and I apologize for any delay, and the starting phase we have faced some technical issues while transferring the file to the system. So we are really sorry for that. But if you have any concern, issues, discussion, then you are most welcome. Otherwise, we will be covering all those aspects in detail in the coming sessions. You suggest your views, because you are the person, you are working in your basin, your department, local, you know better than us, so you can suggest, and we should cover in the master plan. The objective of the presentation was what to be covered in the master plan. These are the aspects, and we cannot cover all the aspects in the master plan in the 5 days program, but definitely we are trying to cover the key major themes in this training program. We would like to cover some hands-on, like in how to develop a hydrological model, how to assess the water resources for a basin, GIS we can take, and then how to estimate the water demand. As I mentioned, sectoral water demand, domestic water demand, how to estimate if you have data, how to estimate the water yield for a particular basin, because I want to estimate the water yield, what is the water potential in my basin, then considering the data in hand, how to estimate. And we will be having some more presentation from my colleagues in the coming sessions. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.